This is a serious proceeding with serious consequences, and all of us are addressing it accordingly. You know, Dr. King called it the law of unintended consequences. So sometimes the more you push a person down, nobody's okay with staying in jail for now.
Last Friday, one of Diddy's lawyers, Anthony Rico, submitted a motion to seek to withdraw from the case. He did state that it won't that it won't delay the trial or anything like that, but he did say that under no circumstances could he continue. I just wanted to see if you saw that and if you had any reaction to him wanting to withdraw himself from Diddy's
Yeah. From what I read and heard about him, he's a good attorney. Y'all gotta understand though, with attorneys, man, but I understand, you know, shit, they all making a couple of $1 million, generation monies. And so for him just to walk away from this case, knowing
everything is falling apart for Diddy. His empire, his reputation, and now his own legal team is abandoning him. One of his top attorneys, Anthony Rico, has just walked away from the case, despite being promised millions of dollars. But why? What inside information did he uncover that forced him to leave immediately?
you know, stand to make at least $2 million, $3 million from Diddy, minimum. And his firm, it got to be something major going on for him to walk away. Now, these are generally the reasons that attorneys like that walk away. Number one, because he already good. He don't need the $2 or $3 million. Who don't need $2 or $3 million? It sounds stupid to even say, right?
At the same time, new witness tampering allegations have surfaced, suggesting that Diddy isn't done pulling strings just yet. And with federal agents tightening their grip, sources claim even more charges are about to be filed against him.
With all of that being said, kind of going back to what potentially the reasoning might be, do you think that it might have been a personal conflict between Diddy and Anthony Rico, or do you think it might have been Anthony Rico with other counsel? But what do you make of all of that?
Potentially, it could be a conflict with the client, right? A disagreement. They just don't get along. The communication is poor. They don't agree on defense strategy. It could be a conflict with one of the other lawyers.
This case is turning into one of the biggest celebrity trials in history. But the real question is, will Diddy finally face justice, or will he find a way to escape yet again?
Obviously, it seems like Agnifilo is the lead on this case, although Rico was certainly his 1B. And I know obviously there's other lawyers on the case. Obviously, a lot of the victims are female. They're going to want female lawyers on the defense team, especially during some of the aggressive cross-examination. That tends to be the conventional wisdom when you're dealing with victims who are alleged victims of sexual assault or abuse.
Anthony Rico, one of Diddy's most powerful attorneys, suddenly filed a motion to withdraw from the case. His official statement, "Under no circumstances can I continue." But what makes this even more shocking is that he refused to disclose his reason, citing attorney-client privilege. Legal experts say this is extremely rare. For a high-profile lawyer to walk away from millions of dollars, something huge must have happened behind closed doors.
And then it could be a conflict with one of the victims themselves. Maybe maybe Rico consulted with them or even represented them in such a way that he has to get off the case.
Sean Diddy Combs looking to suppress evidence in his federal trial. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky is back with the story. Good morning again, Aaron.
And to you, Michael. You'll remember federal agents from Homeland Security Investigations were hardly shy when they raided Sean Combs' opulent homes in Los Angeles and Miami, guns drawn. The jailed music mogul now argues those searches and other searches of his iCloud accounts, electronic devices, and New York City hotel room following his arrest were unconstitutional.
The theories? He discovered evidence proving Diddy's guilt beyond a doubt. He had a fallout with Diddy's legal team over their defense strategy. He knew the case was unwinnable and didn't want his reputation destroyed. But it doesn't end there. Rico's resignation came right before Diddy's team filed a motion to suppress evidence collected during the Miami mansion raid. Did he see something in those files that made him want nothing to do with the case?
I think that the public and the media have gotten nearly every fact wrong about what the prosecution's case is here. So I just want to take one issue with that. There's no minors, there's no celebrity sex tapes. The civil lawsuits here are not driving the allegations that we're defending against, but it is driving the vitriol against him in the media.
I'm going to highlight something because this one drives me crazy because I read what the prosecution files. And I read the indictment.
Just when people thought things couldn't get worse, prosecutors dropped a bombshell. Diddy, who is currently locked up in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, has been accused of tampering with witnesses, a charge that could add years to his sentence.
There's no allegation of sex with minors. There's no allegations of A-list celebrities. There are, the new superseding indictment lists 3 so-called victims. I like to call them complaining witnesses. But isn't that right, Tenny?
No, that's absolutely right. There's no minors here. There's no celebrity sex tapes. There are a lot of stories in the media about lawsuits. There's been a flurry of lawsuits in the past 2 days.
Prosecutors say Diddy used at least 8 different inmates' phone accounts to call people not on his approved list. He allegedly orchestrated a social media campaign from jail, instructing his family to flood Instagram and Twitter with posts painting him as the victim of a racist attack.
Wholeheartedly that the client is going to be guilty, and they don't want to be associated with that guilt because that's a loss on their record. It could be a variety of things, but the fact that we are speculating about that when the trial date hasn't even started yet concerns me, because I'm one of those people, ladies and gentlemen, who firmly believes it's virtually impossible to find a jury that's not contaminated by some kind of information that's been put out to the public before a trial begins. I'm not one of those that believes that. May 5th is May 5th.
The worst part? Threats. Prosecutors claim he tried to intimidate witnesses, using fear and manipulation to keep people from testifying against him. This explains why his bail was denied. The court now sees him as a serious threat to the investigation. Here's the thing. Diddy has always had a way of making problems disappear, which brings us to his late...
We do not convict people in America based on them being bad actors. We convict them based on bad acts. That was Cassie's involvement in that hotel hallway, a bad act? Absolutely. But as Matt says, the statute ran on that.
Okay, let's just pivot.
And the other thing about this, real quick, on this issue that the lawyer says, it's a term of art. It's like in law when you say we've had irreconcilable differences in a divorce. People say, well, that must mean he beat her. That must mean she beat him or was cheating. It doesn't mean it's a term of art. This lawyer has to make specific showings to the federal judge to be allowed off the case. And one of the ways you do that is that we've broken up and we can't get back together. And all he was saying is we've broken up and we can't get back together. In court, we often call it we're waiting for Mr. Green to arrive or Mr. Cash hasn't arrived. Everyone understands what the term of art means. And in this case, it means I'm not getting along with this dude because I want to be the big dog or the top dog, or I'm not getting paid enough money.
Latest move. Instead of fighting the charges, Diddy is attacking the people bringing the case against him. He sued NBC for $100 million, claiming their documentary on him was defamation. He tried to get Tony Busby, the lawyer representing his victims, disbarred. He's pressuring his team to argue that he's being targeted because of his race. Insiders say that this is classic Diddy. Instead of proving...
One of the things is, the thing that stuck out to me, you mentioned it before, these allegations are so consistent with what the allegations are that are laid out by prosecutors when they describe the freak-offs in their indictment, right? These sex-fueled parties, the baby oil, the Astroglide, and it makes me wonder, A, do you think Mr. Pines is a cooperating witness for the government? B, if so, do you think he was one of the people that they originally spoke to when they were coming up with this, when they were drafting the indictment and coming up with the charges? Or do you think he's come out after? Because again, I think the timing of the lawsuit's important too, at the end of the year, right now. Talk to me about what you think his role might be.
If I had to guess, I would figure that the feds already talked to him, just because I know from my experience dealing with them how all-encompassing their investigations are. And if he really was his executive assistant from the time frame that they allege in the lawsuit, I can't see a scenario where they wouldn't. They investigate regular cases to the point that that I'm shocked when I see it as a criminal defense attorney with regular people.
His innocence, he's trying to bully his way out of trouble. But here's the issue. This time, it's not working. Diddy's former executive assistant, Philip Pines, has just come forward, revealing disturbing details about Diddy's secret life. Pines, who worked with Diddy from 2019 to 2021, says he was responsible for planning and managing Diddy's infamous Wild King Nights, underground parties filled with drugs, alcohol, and young women. The list of items he was required to buy for these parties is downright sickening: baby oil, Astroglide lubricant, marijuana, cocaine, and MDMA, Molly, libido supplements, electronic recording devices. That last one is important because Diddy allegedly recorded everything. But the most
news came out that his former bandmate from Dirty Money, she called the other group member Dunn 58 times trying to get her to stop the lawsuit against Diddy.
She ain't the only one he was trying to get in contact with. You understand? He sent somebody through somebody else to try to get in contact with me, telling me enough is enough. Oh, okay. You tell Big Mama that enough is enough. You can't tell Wolf Mama enough is enough. You tell D Ferg Mama enough is enough. You understand? You tell all those people who supported you and they survivors enough is enough.
You didn't tell me about this. So he tried to get somebody to reach out to you?
No, I got a phone call from Kirk Burroughs.
Chilling revelation came just a few days ago. New victim, Candace McCree, has filed a lawsuit under her real name, making it clear that she is not afraid to expose the truth. According to her lawsuit, Diddy allegedly locked her and a friend in a room, forced them to strip, and threatened to kill them if they didn't comply. She claims that when she begged him to stop, he ignored her cries and only stopped when a security guard entered the room. And the worst part? Diddy allegedly recorded everything. If these tapes
and Kirk Burroughs, and I ain't gonna even get this guy no play. Not Kirk Burroughs, but one of the Puff dudes that I know that's real close to him said, Kirk told me, yo, he wanna reach out to you, Gene. He wanna speak to you. I said, speak to me for what? What do you want to speak to me for? If he's trying to speak to me, it's for Puff. Point blank. I know the dude. I know how close he is to Puff. He's been with Puff from day one. So he ain't got nothing to say to me, bro.